There's no equivalency. Our Constitution calls for an independent, nonpartisan commission, which did the job.
They shot the first bullet. They took an action in Texas, and we're responding to it.
The redistricting fight moves to California. Governor Gavin Newsom is pushing to redraw the state's congressional districts after Texas passed its new congressional map this weekend. For more, let's bring in California Congressman and House Judiciary Committee member Kevin Kiley. Congressman, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. The answer from a number of Republicans is that, look, Texas had this unfair map and they're just matching some other states, and that the process in California is, in fact, the one that is violating, the spirit of redistricting and all that. I mean, is it all wrong? What's going on here?
Yeah, look, and I want to be clear, I don't think gerrymandering is a good thing wherever it occurs. I don't like what's going on in some other states, but what's happening in California is uniquely anti-democratic. Our voters have said 3 separate times now that we want redistricting to be done by an independent commission. We don't think politicians should be drawing their own district lines. This is an inherent conflict of interest. But now Gavin Newsom has cooked up this scheme to overturn the will of voters and blow up our state's constitution in order to reduce Republicans from what we have now, which is 9 seats out of 52, and instead have us have 4 or 5 seats out of 52, even though we get over 40% of the vote in statewide elections. So what's happening in California goes absolutely against the will of our voters. It goes against the Constitution, and we need to fight against it in every way we can in order to safeguard democracy in California.
And Governor Newsom says, look, we're fine to leave it in place, but that's exactly what Texas did. What do you say to that?
Well, Newsom is desperate to come up with any issue to run on for president in 2028. The problem is for him is that he doesn't have a record to run on. He has the worst record of any governor in the entire country. California leads the nation in homelessness. We lead the nation in unemployment. We lead the nation in poverty. So not the most compelling campaign slogan to say, oh, let's spread that to the rest of the country. So right now, he's trying to make himself a hero to the far left by saying, I delivered the House for Democrats in 2026. And he's trying to do that not by winning more votes, but just by moving some lines around on a map. And so that's the whole purpose of this thing. But the good news is that we have the power to stop him. I actually have a bill in the House that would say Newsom is not allowed to do what he's doing. You're not allowed to redraw district lines whenever you feel like it. And if we get this passed and signed into law, then it will puncture Newsom's launching pad. It will stop him in its tracks. And best of all, I believe it'll set us up, Republicans up, to win the House in 2026, because we just won the House in 2024 using this exact same map that we have right now. And look at the positive changes we've had in the country since. A border that's at an absolute standstill, historic tax relief for Americans, rolling back all of this woke insanity. That's how we're going to win the House in 2026.
Would your bill apply to any state that's looking to do this, Democratic or Republican?
Yes, it would. I mean, I think that what's happening across the country is really not a good thing for either party. It's probably going to be a wash at the end of the day. Americans are overwhelmingly opposed to gerrymandering. And I happen to believe that when we have fair elections, Republicans win because the people of this country are on our side. So I'm saying let's stop. Let's have an armistice here with this redistricting war that isn't good for the country. I think that by the time we do the next round of redistricting in 2030, we should have come up with a way to make elections fairer in this country by, number 1, ending gerrymandering once and for all, and number 2, establishing voter ID across the country. I think that's the right thing for the country, and it's the right thing for Republicans.
You do have another opportunity to stop what's going on in California because it goes to a statewide vote. Do you think that Californians will reject this effort? And if they do not, does that put your seat at risk?
So I'm not super concerned about my own seat. Newsom has come after me in every way he can. Last year, he sent his own staff member to run against me, and I won by 46,000 votes. So even though he's drawn my district to resemble an elephant with his trunk that sort of collects Democrat voters along the way.
Well, it's a very Republican shape, I guess, right?
Whatever the shape of the district. However, when it comes to the actual vote on this redistricting scheme, if it's a fair vote, if you ask folks in California, do you want redistricting done by a citizens commission, or do you want it done and returned to politicians? Overwhelmingly, Democrats, Republicans, independents, 2/3 of California voters say they want the commission to do it. The problem is they are going to try to fool people in the way this is presented on the ballot. We've already seen the language they've come up with. So they're going to try to trick people into thinking yes is no and no is yes. So that's the challenge we face in California, is we have a corrupt political class led by Gavin Newsom that is going to stack the deck in every way possible in order to undermine the will of voters. I think we can still win this, but the burden that we face, the challenge that we face, is simply getting out the truth.
All right, Congressman Kevin Kiley, Republican from California. Thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.